of all the people you have on your stream, Meezy and one of the chat niggas, I can't remember the name of the chat nigga. I like when he talk, but Meezy be making the most sense, bro.
Well, Meezy is a multiple time appearer on the pod, along with yourself, and I usually get pretty high IQ compliments about the conversation that's kind of had. You know what I mean? Which was usually more than just high IQ shit. Sometimes it's being level and based and being pretty much even keeled and not just completely ignorant. You know what I mean? So this is what it is.
Let me ask you. So I got one question to you before I go.
Right.
What's gonna happen to Andrew Tate, bro? Y'all king, y'all god.
What? You see. Wait, first of all, the point that wait, you don't like Tate?
Of course not.
What?
Of course not. What?
Yo, I kid you not. Yo, there's like a black woman somewhere hidden inside there. Like, yo, wait, real talk. Like, bro, your talking points is like a lesbian feminist on Twitter, bro. Like, real talk, bro. Wait, hold on. Why don't you like Tate?
What's the like, bro?
I think I think obviously he's an entertainer, just like how I'm an entertainer in the sense that I go on rants. I'm pretty, I get pretty, I'm all over the place. I go on rants and second, third, but I do think that he has a really good message in encouraging young men, and young men to kind of, get out there, kind of reject some of these social norms that's kind of been put forth on them, and to work harder, improve themselves, and instead of making excuses, work for what they believe they deserve in life. I think that's a pretty good message. I don't see a lot of people preaching that. I see a lot of people preaching excuses. I see a lot of people preaching things that would be more detrimental, especially to people of color, because it will it will prevent them from becoming better versions of themselves. I think Andrew Tate's pretty good in kind of encouraging black men, so men at all. You know what I mean? And I think people, and I'm not gonna lump you into it, but I am. People like you, those feminists on Twitter, they hate that there is a voice, and we don't have any voice that appeal to men. And yes, could the message be curtailed a little bit? Sure, but people like to argue about Andrew Tate with certain things that he said in tongue in cheek, but it's never about the core values that he's been preaching. Like it's been thousands of hours of content that he's done, and people would be like, "Yo, he said women can't drive," and like, "Yo, he said that on one podcast." Now we got to defend this every single time. Let's talk about the core values that he's constantly preaching every single day. I don't see a reason why you would dislike someone that way, other than the fact that you might be scared of their influence over people, and we could see how people felt when they heard the news that kids were being affected by some of the things he's saying, and shit, ain't that everything? Like, shit, you don't think no kid is going to school being affected by young boy? Not to throw my guy under the bus and nothing like that, but Dirk, any of these guys who, again, there has to be some type of culpability given to the parents, right? Like if your kid could just get online and just listen to whatever song or listen to whatever speech or whatever saying by someone, and they go to their school and they're repeating it, are we going to blame these people, or are we going to say, yo, take a little bit of accountability, or at least put some parental controls on your goddamn phone or these devices that the kids are getting the internet on? That's what it is.
Let me give you an example of one thing that I heard Andrew Tate said that kind of told me something about him. All right, so I think one thing for me that's a little different, not a little different, because I don't know everybody's life and stuff, but I'll just say one thing that's specific about me. You know that, my dad died a couple of years ago, 2021, lost my father, but I had an example of what a man was. I had an example, not of how to talk like a man, or how to look like a man, or how to appear like a man. I had an example of what a man was, every day, every single day, somebody involved in my life, somebody who instilled confidence in me. No matter what anybody else thought about me, I knew that there was one person who had my back. I knew that there was one person that was strong, that was willing to die for me, that was willing to kill for me. And not even that was just willing to listen to me and make sure that I went out into the world to protect people and to hope to be a protector, which I have to do, a better job of. And I was thinking about something that I heard Andrew Tate say. And What he said was, he said that he was talking about his wife and the kind of woman that he would want, and the kind of woman that he would want would be a woman that would make all of his friends jealous. And he said that what he would like to have is he would like for all of his boys to go out clubbing. And when they came back from clubbing, he would want his woman to make steaks for all of his homeboys. And then that would make his home, like, no matter what time it was, it's like 2:00 in the morning. She gets up, she makes steaks for all of his homeboys. And that would make his homeboys think, oh my God, I want to be like you. You have the best woman. I was thinking about what my father would do or what he would say if he came back in the house with his friends and my mama grabbed a bunch of pots and pans and started cooking for all of them. That would never fly. That's not flying. His family is not about impressing anybody else. His relationship with his wife is not about what another man thinks about his relationship with his wife. His relationship with his wife and his relationship with his family is about how he feels about his family, what he shares with them, what he gets from them, and how they come together and what they have. And his legacy and what he does for his people, for his family, for me, my sister, my brothers, my mom, that's about us. And it's not about what nobody else thinks. Because a man, a actual man, sure wants to compete, sure wants to give his all, sure wants to give his best. But he is confident and secure in what it is that he does and how he does it. He wouldn't even want his woman cooking meals for all of his homeboys. What does that prove? What is that about? I would be willing. What I wonder is what Andrew Tate's relationship with his father was like. I wonder who raised him. I wonder what made him think that his manhood was something that he had to project out of the middle of his chest for everybody to see. I wonder what makes somebody go, hey, everybody look at me. What makes somebody go, hey, everybody pay all the attention to me. Because where I'm from and how I am, and for guys that were raised with, that's not what manhood is. What manhood is about is excellence, dependability, reliability, and connection. And that comes from the responsibility that you have to the people in your life, how they can show up for you, and the fact that you know that they won't exploit you. So when I see him over there in the situation that
That's
he's
the
in
only
right
reason
now,
you don't like that nigga, man?
okay,
Oh,
when I
hell
see
no.
him, when I see him over there in the situation that he is in right now, innocent to proven guilty, I don't know what's going on. I think that's probably typical. That's probably typical for somebody who looks at the world like that, because it's somebody who's always looking for somebody else to do their work for them. And so for me, it's give a fuck about what people do or how they make their money. I don't think that nobody should be deplatformed. I don't give a fuck about none of that. But all of that shit is for the birds, man. Like I'm not.
Hey, can I
Like,
respond to that real quick? And
for it.
I mean, okay, you're making a pretty good point, but like, it's crazy if that's the only reason that you don't like the nigga. That's ridiculous.
It's not. No.
Hold on, and also,
Wait. It's not the only reason I don't like. Like you know that's not my type of guy. But it's not the only reason I don't like him. But I have what I'm telling you is I have attempted to listen to some of the stuff that he says. I have attempted. Look, I mean, like,
so because you don't agree with him, so hold on. Do you dislike him because you don't agree with him, or you dislike him because of the influence he has, and he's probably influencing people to have an opinion you don't agree with?
Like the opinion that he's forcing people to have doesn't really even
forcing.
Affect, right?
Oh, hold on. Is he forcing?
No, forcing. Excuse me. The opinion that he's forcing people to have doesn't even really affect me as much as you would think it does, right? Because I'm another man. To be honest with you, I just don't like niggas like that. Like, and that doesn't just go for him. That goes for anybody else who's in a situation. Like a lot of these big chain wearing niggas that try to stun on everybody. That's just not my way. That treat everybody like
hold on. Yeah, but put like this. Like, having a different personality type, or maybe a slightly different set of morals and values, that might not be the person you would want to kick it with or go to the club with, right? But like I think it's a hard stretch to be like, this is why I don't like that nigga. Like, yo, you know
No,
what I mean?
no. But what else? I've never met him, but what else is there for me to judge him on except for what he says? You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I spent about 2 minutes telling you all the good things and the positive things that he's definitely helping inspire. Maybe not you because you're grown and you're developed, but like he's inspiring people to do some pretty good things. Like, you know what I mean? He's inspiring people, in a positive way. I would say for the majority of his message is completely perfect. But here's the thing too: is anything perfect? You know what I mean? Like, listen, people still jack in Christianity and the Bible, but the Bible also say if you gay, like you should get like the stones. Like that's what's going on.
no. Look, I'm not. Look, my opinion of Andrew Tate is neither here nor there. It really doesn't. What I was wondering is, and I always wonder this about everyone, about people, like about me, about you, about everybody, right? If it comes out that what they're saying about Andrew Tate is true, right? If it comes out that what he's really been doing when he's been telling everybody to work hard, build something, if it comes out that what he's really been doing is exploiting women,
okay,
and making them do stuff and then getting money off them, what I wonder then, and I say this is the same thing about everybody, right? I used to tell people, yo, what if we'd have these conversations about Tory and Meg, and I tell people, I'd be like, what if he didn't do it? Like, what does that mean for the narrative that you've built up in yourself? Like, now I'm pretty certain that he did. I don't want to have a conversation with you about it. I know that he did. I don't want to have a conversation with you about it. I really don't. But what?
No, hold on, wait. It wouldn't even be a conversation, right? And I think it goes into the Tate thing, right? No, it goes into the Tate thing. Listen, no one's here defending anyone that would be found guilty of anything, right? If Tory gets an appeal or whatever happens, that's on him. And if you confidently say no, he did it, like I wouldn't even have any retort to that. You get what I mean? Listen, it's the court of law already made a decision about that. Here's what I'm trying to say. A lot of times, and how I feel you kind of lean, those are the people who say, fuck the process, the inevitable legal process. Let's just believe all women because women are incapable of lying. And granted, there's other things that say, yo, listen, we do have to amplify and really listen to some of the voices, not some of the voices, all of the voices of women who claim they've been abused, but we should reserve judgment. That's the thing. Like, even with Tate, right? Like, if it came out that Tate did what they're accusing him of, in a lot of sense, he would be seen as a fraud. Of course. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bruh, of course. But until that moment, we shouldn't talk about him like he already is convicted. That was my problem with the whole Tory thing.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. What do you, although those recordings in that documentary are pretty bad, but let me ask you this. What do you think believe all women means?
Oh yeah.
Okay. What do you think believe women means? Believe all women means? What do you think it means?
Hold on. So you asking me that, right? I have to also extrapolate to what I've seen other people in the storyboard of most conversations concerning women usually say, right?
Okay.
So for me, if it's just a personal ask, it would be, obviously, when a woman comes out and says anything, despite no matter who and how powerful they are, we should, treat these situations seriously, and we should make sure their voices are not silenced, right? But that has also morphed, right? Believe all women these days, if you follow the narrative. You ever been on Twitter? Believe all women means if somebody says something about Drake, and even if they never met Drake, you're supposed to believe her until Drake prove otherwise. You get what I mean? That's basically what it's turned to. Now, granted.
Okay. So, and the reason why I asked you this is like, because the believe all women thing is similar to Black Lives Matter as a slogan to me. Because it's like anything else, right? Anything can be spun, any narrative, any definition can be spun for what it is that people need to either empower it or discredit it, right? There are several cases, high-profile cases of, like, if you have the Duke lacrosse situation, where a woman says that she was abused by a Duke lacrosse team, it didn't happen, right? Didn't happen. But I think Believe All Women is similar to Black Lives, or Believe Women is similar to Black Lives Matter in that it's a reaction to a societal norm that existed before it. So it used to be a time where a woman would say, hey, I'm raped, right? And she would not get what you just said. She wouldn't get there were backlogs of rape kits so much so that like you couldn't get a rape kit done sometimes. They wouldn't take it seriously. They wouldn't investigate it. If the guy was powerful enough, they'd throw it to the side. So her accusation wouldn't be believed, right? The fact that she's even saying that she was raped wouldn't be believed, right? Like there is no way in hell that in my opinion, that what you can say is, hey, through and through, no matter what comes out, no matter what is said, believe somebody when they say something. I don't think that that's the intent of it. If you're looking on Twitter and you're saying, are there some people that are like, for whatever reason, saying, hey, no matter what comes out, no matter what happens, you'll always believe it? Absolutely.
All right, let me ask you this very direct question.
Let me finish.
Because you're giving a history lesson, and we kind of get that part, but it goes down to anecdotal shit though. It goes down to anecdotal shit, right?
It doesn't go down to anecdotal.
No, it does because
if I wanted to give you an actual lesson, there are actual numbers on this.
No. I'm not talking about that. I want to ask you just a direct question, right?
Sure.
So, when Meg Thee Stallion initially came out, I'm sorry I'm using that, but it's like just a high profile case where we know both of them, right? When Meg Thee Stallion came out and said that happened, and then Tory said that didn't happen, what was your gut feeling?
I believed her.
So even though he said, I ain't do it, because she said he did it, you're like, you just believed her.
Yeah, well, so this is the way I looked at it. And this is the way I am, right? If you walk into Fred Siegel right now or any of these stores and you say that they treated you racist, I'm going to believe you. Even if they say that they didn't, I'm going to believe you. Now, what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to be like, okay, now what did they do? How did they do it? When did this happen? And if it doesn't line up or add up to me, I would be like, I don't know. I think you might be overreacting. I didn't see a reason that she would lie about that.
Wait, hold on. Yo, Van, you know what you're saying is really the job of the goddamn police to actually investigate it. You can't. Hold on. Wait. You can't really properly investigate if that actually happened. So if you're blindly believing one person,
but I'm not a police officer. If I was a police officer, I wouldn't believe anyone. But what you asked me is, did I believe her? Yeah, I did believe her.
All right. But hold on.
Listen. Hold on, wait. I also said to you and to anyone else several times in public, I said I also not have a problem not believing her if things don't add up. I said I believe her. She said she's
it's incumbent on Tory.
And so I also said on the podcast, and I was ripped to shreds for it. I said she shouldn't have lied to Gail.